rises. Behold! I thought I told him to spray it with water to retain... You can't treat a glazed lily...
Hey, Tighnari!
Oh.
We didn't have it.
Well, Port Orm, the exhibition, even so.
Oh!
Not this time.
Mr. Tighnari! Sanjay! He,
Apologies, Traveler, Paimon. Looks like I...
Tighnari's busy no matter where he is, huh? Yeah, seems like it. Well, looks like Wow, look at these flowers! They smell so...
Huh?
Paimon's... fine. She's just got...
Rainbow roses. A moment of your time, you two? If it's not too much trouble, perhaps you could try this incense.
Incense? Oh, that was fast.
Think nothing of it. From your attack, seen as
Oh, so
Paimon
is...
the Traveler, right?
What happened?
Have you ever to put it? Well, but there's no need to worry. Pollen.
Oh, well, that's...
Traveler, Paimon, there you are. I left in such a hurry, I forgot. Emily? Ah,
It was nothing. I'm more curious as to why you...
remember the first time we met? You fainted after inhaling Spirit Borneal.
The spirit board...
It's not really something...
Exactly.
Whoa. Good thing...
In addition to medicine...
And that's where... A flower expert?
Wrong.
Well,
Oh, Paimon was sure she got...
it's a kind
August.
in an ancient... that reminds me. Perfume It all started when several merchants released their and the demand was too the value of these products. But at the end of the day, perfume, luckily, in the end, only a few.
What does all this...
Well,
10 million?
after the mania ended, most perfumes returned its namesake, the flower used. Indeed, when the bubble popped.
But didn't...
Yes.
Traveler, we should help Emily look for it.
I have to...
Even if I can look divine, noble, one of a kind, all beautiful sentiments to be sure. But to me, when it comes to perfume,
Wow.
of course, every so often someone will claim to have recreated the unique scent of a goose.
Okay, that...
Ever since that, if I can then I'll be...
That makes sense.
Oh, I would of course be grateful.
Well,
Based on the information I have so far, it's Mr. Edgar.
Edgar?
The person you... back when he was...
I should also mention...
So, this guy was a famous perfumer in Fontaine, but then he...
It's a long story. If you're interested, we can talk more about it when we see him.
Oh, look at all the flowers!
Apparently, the exhibitor paid a large sum to rent out the hotel.
Yeah, what if guests come early? They won't have anywhere to stay. Also, renting out this big of a hotel, how are they gonna make that...
It's been so long. Well, oh yeah, okay. Hold on.
It's nice to see you again, Master.
Emily, I've heard you've been...
Oh, well.
I've taught... And who are these two?
They're my new friends, the Traveler and Paimon.
Emilie's friend.
And these two
Yes.
merch.
You must be here to...
Well,
I'm guessing you're here for the... I commissioned that be some of them. One of...
No, I don't think so. A goose is, although
impossible. If a goose...
technically speak,
Well,
No. Compared to...
Wait. Are you saying...
We don't have... You all travel...
Ooh, you've got the keys to the room?
I managed to...
Oh,
don't worry, Master. I can sleep on the boat tonight. Or I could even camp in the wild. It would give... although, would it be...
Well...
Of course.
All right, then. I'll prepare...
whoa, the smell of flowers is so strong. Paimon took a peek through the window earlier and his house was packed with flowers.
No, we work close.
Oh, guess there's just too much to store for the exhibition then.
Oh, this blaze. Ahem. Yeah. All right, then. Where can we...
It's still at the port. In addition to some daily necessities, there's also a case of amber wine that I brought back. Could I try? Is that so? Mr. Ood, Mr.
Hey! What are you doing?
That's Master's voice.
Edgar!
Master!
Hey, Edgar! Hey, Edgar?
No, don't shake him. He's injured. Just leave him to me. You two can... Oh, thank you.
I check. Oh, but that's the culprit, I mean. It's not like the
That strange smell around here. Is it coming from this bottle? Oh, really? Do you think whoever... Well, we looked up...
The most important thing we can do now is...
So, how's he doing?
When I administered emergency treatment, he's still unconscious, and inducing vomiting could obstruct his airways. We'll have to look into other clues for now. Ah, yes. But first, Mr. Sylvain, Mr.
Wait, hey! Were you talking to us, mademoiselle?
Before arriving in Sumeru, I asked a friend from the Special Patrol to look into the creators of Auguste. There were 4, a researcher, the 2, in the end. Every time your brother...
Miss, you have... What?
Amber wine is unless...
Emily, you little...
Don't misunderstand, Mr. Sylvain. I don't bring this up to but Master's life, if Master's so I'd like to.
Fine. Sylvain! Lucian, if this will help us find... You were right, Miss Emilie. There were 4 of us. Sometime...
Sounds like he's still upset about that. Wait, then how did Edgar end up
Master was convicted as an accomplice, so he only had to serve a few years. He decided to move to Sumeru, still. That's how I met him. My parents had to relocate, but we can talk about that some other time. I want to hear more about this researcher.
Like us, but before the Phantom showed up at...
But destroying all that evidence...
It didn't matter at that point, because she...
What?
Sounds like you did an investigation of your own.
The name wasn't mentioned in any of the
Kyria was Vijava's younger brother. He was just a clueless kid. Vijava kept him after our opera.
So, you think...
Vijava doted if she left something behind.
And judging by the liquid in that bottle, the Auguste flower wasn't the only thing he reproduced. He managed to replicate the perfume.
So the liquid Edgar was forced to ingest really was
Poison? No. If Auguste could be considered... We're not looking for Kyria because we have it out for him. We just wanted to see how he was doing. And, if possible, work together to bring back Auguste. We only went to prison for as long as we keep things honest this time around. Bringing the product back to...
So that's why you...
Yes, exactly.
Anyway, that's all.
Well, at least...
Well, glad to... Lucian, let's head back to the room.
Yes.
You think so too? But based on Sylvain...
the way you exposed them like that? Oh, right.
Oh, yes.
So you're
Close. In fact, with just a small basically, I've learned a lot in my line of work, and I've witnessed a lot of death. But this time, we may still save the patient. Actually, Traveler, could I trouble you to I'll stay here and...
Squall Fury! Whoa! Why the rush?
What? Edgar was attacked? He's the most famous...
Sheriff, have you received any reports of...
No. I'll start gathering my force.
What about you, Tainari? Do you have a plan?
I'm sure the sheriff can handle things over at the scene, and I doubt Emily needs my help looking after Mr. Edgar.
But...
Then she was far... Not to mention, as for me...
Oh, that's right.
From Emily's letter, certainly. I didn't have time to look into it earlier, but now it seems like Vijava's past could be critical to getting to the bottom of what happened to Mr. Edgar. I have friends in Sumeru City that can help me investigate. With it, I'll leave you and Em...
good with Emilie's math.
The wind rises.
Emilie!
No longer in critical. My chemical analysis of a goose also. I was able.
Elemental energy?
Hard to say. It was such a minute I had to use one of the newest tests unless you were abnormally sensitive to elemental. As for whether Master's condition.
Oh, that reminds Paimon.
I received him.
Oh, Paimon thought he... excuse me? Is Miss Emilie here? Oh, perfect! Familiar face...
Call it. Oh, of course. Tainari's a. And please, no need.
Oh, did Tainari send you here? Yep. Anyway, based on what they've reviewed so far, Master considered that possibility as well. How is that possible?
It's starting.
Hey! Lucian!
It's Sylvain! Wait, you don't think Kirio came back?
That seems impossible. If someone came in or out of the hotel. It's locked?
Lucian! Lucian! Come on! Emilie, my brother, he's gonna be okay, right?
I'm sorry, Mr. Sylvain, but we were too late this time.
No, that's not possible.
Traveler, Kale, Mr. Sylvain has gone through a huge shock. He needs some space to calm down. Could one of you take him next door? It's not good for him to look at his brother's body like this.
Of course. Leave it to me.
Thank you both. Mr. Sylvain, let's get you up. Here. We'll take things from here. Just focus on getting some rest. Here, this way.
Poor guy. He's like a shell of his former self. He may have made some bad decisions in life, but right now, Paimon can't help but feel sorry for him.
Good person or bad, the death of a loved one is equally painful. All the moments he shared with his brother, every hardship and triumph they endured together, are now memories he has to carry alone.
If Kirio really was behind this, then what exactly did he do to Lucian?
Lucian can no longer speak, but the traces left behind by his death most certainly can. Traveler, I've got things covered here at the scene. I'll leave you to contact the sheriff.
Who would have thought? Yesterday's case is still up in the air, and now this happens. Miss Emilie, I heard you're an experienced forensic doctor. Have you been able to discover anything?
Oh, I'm not actually a forensic doctor. I just happen to have some relevant knowledge. I did take a look, though. Judging by the temperature and rigidity of the body, it appears the time of death was sometime last night. I'd have to do a more thorough investigation to find out more.
Then, would you mind helping us investigate? Before he left, Tainari said we could trust your judgment if something like this were to happen.
Of course, I appreciate your trust. Many of the traces left behind at the scene will fade with time, so The sooner we investigate, the better.
We'll help too. We don't know much about dead bodies, but you can leave the other clues to us.
Pupils are dilated.
And the windows are shut tight too. Well, looks like we've investigated.
So, did you find anything?
Paimon can show you. Here, it'd be something like this.
But,
No, his react.
then, what?
I agree.
Mr. Sylvain, I need you to tell me everything you...
After Kyria attacked Edgar, my brother and I were... and we returned to our rooms and decided to lock all the doors leading to the hallway. The only door we kept unlocked was the one connecting our rooms. That way, if we heard any commotion coming from the other room, we could help each other. But I didn't hear any sort of commotion last night. Not a single noise. I woke up this morning, opened the door, and Lucian was...
So, no movement from the room next door. No forced entry via Sylvain's room. No signs of a struggle at the scene. And no external injury on Lucian's body. What kind of cause of death are we dealing with here?
I did notice a few things about the body. Lucian's pupils were dilated, and his skin was flushed. Very similar to Master's symptoms after the attack yesterday. There weren't any traces of liquid in his mouth or nose, so it...
A goose? No, that's not possible. Inhaling a goose won't kill you. No, that's not what I meant. Emily, you ran your tests, didn't you? Go on. Tell everyone whether you found any poison.
No, I didn't find...
That may be true for most people, but not for everyone.
Master!
Edgar? You're...
Sylvain, no matter how even if we could, no, he would... That's Vijava's real name. Yelena wasn't a scholar from Sumeru. She was an exiled Fatus from Snezhnaya.
A Fatus?
The Fatui. Well, that means the elemental energy present in Auguste was...
Ah, so you've already detected it. Well, Sylvain, looks like there's truly no reason to hide things now.
Oh.
The Auguste flower was created with the mutative and distorting power of a delusion.
A delusion?
The Fatui, delusions... I never would have thought Auguste was hiding this many secrets.
Born of a delusion, Auguste contained distorted elemental energy. A prolonged exposure over many years could have a harmful effect on the body.
That's enough, Edgar. I'll take it from here. At first, Yelena wanted to keep refining the perfume and the flower, but no one knew how long the perfume mania was going to last back then. It didn't have any effect on ordinary people anyway. Every day we postponed going to market was another day of lost earning potential.
So you decided poisoning people was worth the risk?
Listen, it's not like it was good for business. But all that talk about Auguste being harmful over time, Yelena was just speculating. The impact was practically negligible. Unless you were particularly sensitive to elemental energy or had an entire bottle shoved down your throat like Edgar. You could use the product for decades and be completely fine.
It may be true there are no records of Auguste poisoning in Fontaine. But even if no one was acutely poisoned, willfully bringing a product to market despite explicit knowledge of its harmful effects is still a serious crime. That explains why you were so intent on keeping Yelena and Kiria's involvement a secret all this time, despite readily confessing to all your financial crimes. The Fatui, delusions, Auguste. If the Marechaussee Phantom discovered the connection between the three, there would have been enough evidence to send you to the Fortress of Meripede for life.
Ha! If I'd known coming to Sumeru would put a target on my back, I would have been more than happy to stay there. At least that way, Lucien would still be alive. All these years without any sign of Kiria, and he pops up out of nowhere the minute my brother and I get out of prison? It couldn't be any clearer who the kid's after. Auguste was harmless before. The fact that it's killing people all of a sudden must be his doing as well.
So there's bad blood between you.
What about Yelena's death? Was that a cover-up too? A way to destroy evidence?
I'll admit, we thought about it at one point. We took care to disguise the product circulating on the market, and no one was questioning Yelena's fake identity. But if the Marechaussee Phantom decided to look into the flower beds, it would have been the end. Yelena's ties to the Fatui, the role of the delusion, everything would have been exposed. Before we could even put our plan in motion, Yelena beat us to it. She burned all her flower beds and threw herself into the fire as well.
But if her goal was to destroy evidence, there would have been no reason to do that to herself. Yeah, she could have just burned the flower beds and fled with her brother.
I thought about it for a long time, but it wasn't until just now that I finally understood her reasoning. Everything she did, it was for her brother, Kiria. One of the reasons they defected from the Fatui was the deterioration of Yelena's body due to her excessive use of a delusion. She didn't want her brother to follow in her footsteps after her death. After arriving in Fontaine, Yelena continued using the delusion to cultivate the Auguste flower, weakening her body even further. There were times when she couldn't even walk.
So she couldn't flee with her brother because she was afraid of holding him back.
If her true identity was exposed, she and her brother would face pressure from both Snezhnaya and Fontaine. The Auguste flower and Yelena's own corroded body both bore the mark of a delusion. There would have been no way to avoid suspicion. So, in the end, she burnt it all to ash, including herself. With all the evidence erased, Kyria was free to take the Mora and run.
So the wealth you earned from Auguste, it wasn't destroyed in the fire. Yelena gave it to her brother?
Most likely. Before Yelena died, she said if anything happened to her, she was going to leave everything to her brother. We just didn't realize she meant our cut as well. That's why Lucien and I were searching for Kyria, to take back our Mora and the Auguste flower. We just didn't realize Kyria was baiting us the whole time. It was all a trap.
But why is Kyria out for revenge anyway? Doesn't he know about Yelena's decision to sacrifice herself?
I don't think he knew his sister was nearing death. Yelena always wore heavy makeup around him to conceal her deteriorating appearance. She kept herself busy with work to keep out of sight. That way her brother wouldn't notice how she could barely walk.
Then all I'll need to do is tell Kyria what really happened, and then he'll give up on his revenge.
I'm not so sure. Even if he knew the truth, he'd still find someone to blame. He might think Yelena was forced into using a delusion to cultivate Auguste, or something like that. It's hard to pull yourself out of that kind of hatred, especially when you've been living in that headspace for so many years.
Very true. Even if Yelena's death was her own choice, I wouldn't call myself innocent either.
Edgar, what are you talking about?
Think about it, Sylvain. If we hadn't been in such a hurry to capitalize on the perfume mania all those years ago, do you think Yelena would have elected to take those risks? If we hadn't been so blinded by greed, so insistent on increasing the scale of the flower cultivation, do you think Yelena's health would have deteriorated as fast as it did? If we hadn't invited the Marechaussee Phantom to our doorstep by breaking the law at every turn, Yelena could have survived.
She knew her limits. She knew her days were numbered. Maybe it was for her brother, but she was in it for the Mora just as much as us. We were just trying to earn a bit of Mora. And what, we deserve to die for that? Target me for being the mastermind, sure. But what about Lucien? He was just following my orders. Lucien's crime, was it really so extreme that he had to pay for it with his life?
The only person that can answer that question is a judge.
Fine. I've said my piece anyway. Drag me back to Fontaine to stand trial. I don't care.
3 people from Fontaine, 1 from Snezhnaya, and a crime committed in Port Ormos. What a headache. Well, we can only wait until the Academia sends someone to deal with it. I'm guessing we'll have to contact Fontaine as well. In any case, we won't really know anything until tomorrow. With the exhibition, we don't even have space in Port Ormos to detain anyone. Such a headache.
The hotel could suffice. You could station a few officers to keep an eye on Sylvain and myself. Although with Sylvain's mental state and my physical one, I don't think you need to worry about a jailbreak.
Mr. Edgar, are you saying...
If Sylvain is to stand trial, then I deserve the same fate. A crime is a crime, accomplice or not. I'd just like to take care of a few things before I go. Say goodbye to my plants and all that. As for Sylvain, I'm sure he also has some goodbyes of his own. Would you be willing to grant that request, Sheriff?
Well, all right. I'll talk to the Academia. No matter who you were in Fontaine or what crimes you committed, the man we grew to know in Sumeru proved himself to be a good person. Your request is granted.
You have my thanks, Sheriff.
Happened tonight? Oh, you mean the possibility that Kiria might try to finish what he started?
Yeah, all we know is that he uses a goose to poison people, but we still have no idea how to catch him in the act. If he targets Sylvain or Edgar again, we might not be able to stop him.
That may be true, but what if we can take advantage of this situation and lure him in on purpose? We might finally have the chance to talk to him.
Master, no. That's too dangerous.
So, that's your plan. If Kiria learns we're being taken away tomorrow, his last chance to enact his revenge would be tonight. In other words, you want to use us as bait to capture him.
Capture? Not necessarily. I just want to talk. What? Are you afraid of him?
Afraid? This is my only chance to make him pay for what he did. I'm spending the rest of my life in prison anyway. I can't just sit back and let him ride off into the sunset with our fortune. There's no way I'm letting him get away with it. Not after what he did to Lucian. As for the danger, everyone else just needs to make preparations in advance to protect us.
I'll admit, it could work. We just need to spread the word that Edgar and Sylvain are leaving tomorrow. Then I'll station some of my men around the hotel. If we have your assistance as well, our chance of success would be even higher.
I still have some reservations. But if you insist on carrying out this plan, I won't deny you my help.
I'll also keep watch.
Although I think Sylvain and myself should remain alone in our respective rooms. If Kiria noticed another person in the room, he might decide to turn back. And besides, it's possible he's already transformed Auguste into a potent toxic gas.
You mean if he doesn't see a way to get his hands on the two of you, he might get so desperate that he'll just start using a goose on everybody?
If that were to happen, everyone's standing guard. Even the innocent citizens in Port Ormos would all be in danger.
That's why everyone else needs to keep to the shadows.
You're still recovering. You need to rest.
This old pack of bones doesn't bounce back like it used to. I suppose I'll just have to leave the rest to you.
All right, we can figure out a plan to keep watch later. Right now, I say we split up, start spreading that information before it's too late.
Have you heard? Mr. Edgar's been detained. He's being taken away tomorrow.
What? He's the one who helped craft all the fragrances for our shop.
He taught my child how to make perfume. How could this happen?
He hasn't been convicted.
Oh, everyone. Let's head back to the hotel and take a break.
Emily!
Thank you, Kale. But first, here. I prepared a kind of herbal tea that helps calm the spirit. Why don't... Oh, it's... You seem very...
No, not at all. This will be easier to talk. There was just when I accompanied... Maybe Kyria did that on purpose. Maybe he wanted Sylvain. So did he?
Based on what we...
Losing his sister, whenever I get to thinking like... I'm sorry.
There's nothing in all my... Some of them surround your... So while do Sylvain answering those I've witnessed, but generally...
Once you're consumed...
You're right, but that I understand...
Huh.
Emily, Traveler. Huh? Edgar.
Oh, it's you two. Didn't you head back to your room to rest, Edgar? Is it really
Besides, I don't have much time left in Sumeru.
We could do that for you, Master.
No need. I would imagine Sheriff
The night...
That's right. I've stationed some... Exactly. After some discuss... And Emily's expertise is sure to come...
Sounds perfect.
not a peep? Has Kyria given up on his revenge? Still nothing unusual. Paimon took a peek into the room next door and Sylvain's already sleeping.
Perhaps Kyria's true... No, that can't be right. There must be something...
Maybe we just need to calm down a... You're right. Maybe we can look for a different distraction then. Oh, there's a glaze lily here. Paimon didn't notice it earlier.
Flower... Oh no! Sylvain's room! Quick!
Wait, what?
Hey, did you hear? Someone was attacked again last night.
It was the older of the merchant brothers.
Yeah, I think his name was Sylvain. Poor guy was murdered in cold blood.
First it was Mr. Edgar, then that merchant named Lucian, and now this.
Listen up, everyone. This is an active crime scene. Please, no loitering.
It's been 3 days and they haven't even caught a glimpse of the guy. What is going on?
Do you think it could be the work of an evil spirit? I mean, how do you get away with something like that with so many people watching?
Keep it moving, everyone. No loitering.
You don't know that. Kyria already...
You were the...
Even if I wasn't there...
Is that so? I suppose I'm a very fortunate person. I have... But Kyria, it really...
If you really want an answer, I suppose you'll have to ask Kyria himself.
Emily, but so many flowers were transported here for the show. Some of them, thousands. Whether I know.
Of course.
Really, now I...
Sheriff Sean...
Go ahead. Best not to keep him waiting.
I'm sorry, Master.
Another all-nighter.
Emily still isn't back. Yeah.
Traveler, I had my men start spreading the information you requested. After listening, to be honest, I'm...
The key clue was right in front of us. Let's go. We'll show you where the... Wasn't this incense original? This is it!
The glazed lily, huh? I think I've heard of it before.
Well, did you know it only blooms at night?
Emily, you're back!
Exactly.
A flower that only...
Exactly. Although the Neil Pala Lotus wouldn't be a good substitute in this scenario. That's why Kyria chose...
If poured into the flower pot, that doesn't... There's a sticky If you stick the pet... If applied to the... That doesn't sound...
That's right. That way the... However...
And Kyria could...
By the next morning, the...
Wait a second. And how did Edgar...
That's because a goose is just...
Ah, that can't be right.
I wouldn't use the... You can think of it...
The incense I smell in Sumer...
Alchemically produced essential oil...
That stuff gave us a lot of trouble when we first came to Sumeru.
Ah, yes.
In Sumeru, it's not...
Flowers were pretty...
Actually, it's not a
No wonder he probably...
But in the end...
There's a saying, but up until that... But because he's been disguised as...
The more is spent to rent up it all... Kyria and Edgar?
But... Kyria was only in his... Edgar's lived here for so...
Bad news, Sheriff! Mr. Edgar was attacked!
What?
A dark shadow-like figure just ran out of his room. It was giving off a really ominous aura. But before we could even react, the figure up and disappeared like some sort of ghost or something. By the time we got a look inside the room, Mr. Edgar was gone. Do you think Kyria kidnapped him?
I need you to think very carefully about this. Are you certain that figure wasn't Edgar himself?
I mean, Mr. Edgar was so frail. I don't see how he could have moved that fast.
It would seem Master decided to tap into an ill-advised source of power.
What? But that's so dangerous with the condition he's in.
But why?
No. If his aim was to target...
If he left Sylvain...
Then...
The shadow-like figure ran in the direction of the elevator, and my partner immediately chased after them.
We should hurry before they're forced to confront each other.
Where in the world did he go? Let's ask the merchants nearby.
It's all right. Please, calm down and take a deep breath.
How could...
This is terrifying. The wind rises.
No! Don't come any closer!
It's all right. I can detect a... It's this way. Please, follow me. scent is getting stronger. This must be the place.
Oh! Oh! Are you all right? Were you
No.
Let me take a look.
The air definitely feels heavy. It smells nice, but for some reason...
Everything looks all right. It was
I can't rest. He's a good man.
O's, you need a...
But how is that Mr. Edgar?
That's precisely why he had to... Kyria used...
No.
And what if the... I've yet to confirm it, but I suspect Kyria killed the while Edgar was in... The new Edgar then decided to relocate to Sumeru, seemingly out of an innocuous desire to let go. And Sumeru, as the years went by, he removed his disguise...
That explains why he aged him...
I need to find Mr. Edgar. He's not...
What you really need...
No, I can keep going.
Wait! This environment is likely being influenced by the delusion. Any discomfort, I know how to relieve. I'm sure Kyria... No, Edgar...
Kale's right. The Traveler and I will take things from here. This leads me to believe those blessed with a... Actually, no, I hate...
Thank. Hear that?
Traveler, for someone who's...
Don't worry. We're not going to... Monsters. Perhaps they were attracted here by the increased level of elemental energy.
There is no escape! Squall and Fury!
Yeah!
I've never seen these seeds before. They must also have been created with the power of a delusion. It seems to be avoiding us, and there's no other way forward. Perhaps we could try luring it to the edge of the cliff.
The wind rises.
Whoa, look at all the... There are so many of them.
I fear that statement is truer than you know, Paimon.
But he only needed a...
Perhaps hatred wasn't not long ago? He told me he didn't want all the flowers, but Kyria betrayed Snezhnaya, abandoned Fontaine, and lived his entire life in Sumeru under the guise of someone else. For someone with nowhere to call home, perhaps dying...
Behold!
Stabilize!
Transfixed! Overruled!
Gather!
Illusion shattered!
A plant that destroys seeds. Huh. Quite the ecological marvel. Let's head back to the place where the seeds first appeared.
The wind rises. Yeah. Huh, too slow. Quit following me. Quit following me. Squall and fury. Behold!
The scent of flowers is getting stronger. We're almost at the end. The scent of flowers.
Did they catch up that fast? No. My strength is just waning. But it doesn't matter. This is far enough.
This is a garden of Auguste flowers. But it's not mine. It's the one that was set on fire all those years ago in Fontaine. Yelena? Yelena! You tried to hide it from me, but I always understood. The reason why you continued to use the delusion, the reason why you set your garden on fire, it was all because of me. I shouldn't have listened to you that day. I shouldn't have taken the Mora and ran. But by the time I realized something wasn't right, there was nothing left. The flowers were gone. And so were you. I know I'm almost 20 years too late. I should have come looking for you earlier. I should have died with you that day. Yelena? Yelena! No! Don't leave me! Please, Yelena!
Emily? I'm alive. No, that's not possible. I saw her. Yelena, we were together.
That was an illusion, likely brought about by the residual toxin in your body coupled with the pollen in the air, neither of which are fatal.
No, the amount of Auguste I drank, it should have been enough. A fake, but how?
We started making the preparations last night with one goal in mind: to create a perfect accord. The accord is the basis of perfume making, the product in its most primitive form.
Ambergris mixed with cedarwood, rounded out with a base note of agarwood.
This is the scent of leather?
Exactly. We're unable to extract essential oils from leather, but by combining other raw materials, we can recreate its essence. That is the purpose of an accord.
Does that mean you can recreate any scent in the whole world?
I'm afraid not. Certain fragrances in this world are simply one of a kind. That quality is what draws people in and fuels their obsessions.
If I wear a goose to the ball, I'll also be one of a kind.
Our competitor already got their hands on it.
It doesn't matter how much it costs. I have to buy something better.
This fragrance will be one of a kind no more. Myths can be deconstructed. Miracles can be recreated. All it takes is skill, experience, limitless exploration, and a little patience. The only thing left is determining where the real Auguste is hidden. Pretending to be attacked means he's not free to move around. Auguste must be hidden within reach.
Paimon took a peek through the window earlier and his house was packed with flowers.
The curator commissioned a flower pot from Kasharawar, capable of retaining heat and moisture.
Perfumes are as beautiful as flowers, and equally as delicate. When stored, you must take care to control the temperature and keep them away from direct sunlight. Did you get all that, Emily?
I got it.
Did you hear? Someone was attacked again last night.
So, Sylvain is dead. Is that right?
Yes, Master.
So, you switched the bottles of Auguste, and then lied to me about Sylvain's death.
Convincing you that your revenge had been completed was the easiest way to get you to let down your guard.
Impossible. Even if you found a way to switch out the bottles, there's no way you could have made an accord. If Auguste was so easy to replicate, Yelena wouldn't have.
It was a combination of rainbow roses, glaze lilies, and Cecilias. Those ingredients would have conflicted with each other if you tried to combine them in the past. But recently, we found a way for them to work together.
Rainbow roses, glaze lilies, and Cecilias.
Auguste was created over 10 years ago. All this time, people never stopped analyzing it, never stopped trying to recreate it. Perfumery techniques are advancing day by day. We found better ways to extract essential oils, separate oils and fats. We even discovered new ways to combine fragrances together. The mythos surrounding Auguste may have been untouchable almost 20 years ago, but now it's time for it to become a thing of the past.
The past?
You've been working as a perfumer for all these years. You should have always known that it is possible to make an accord, even if only in theory. But the meaning you assigned to Auguste became so inflated. You allowed yourself. You believed in its divinity and grandeur. Your obsession with Auguste...
We just didn't expect it to happen.
Well, so, since you've been... That means the new...
Yes.
Who knows?
I know if you had... all the crime...
Is that so?
Whoa, he accepted that kind of fact.
I don't feel the need to I did.
Careful, everyone.
Stick close.
Looks like...
Of course, Master.
The combination...
The scent of Auguste... So, as I was analyzing the sample...
You're saying...
Rainbow roses, but if you cultivate an...
Rainbow roses, glaze lilies, and Cecilias. Yelena.
Did you know?
Right?
Seems like everyone in Fontaine is talking about the new perfume.
I was hoping to. I just hope it won't become the sword. I did. Also,
Of course! A good...
besides, when it comes to
Right! Do those flowers... The language of flowers?
what each flower after returning to Fontaine, I did. Perhaps that's the legacy
You think Kyria...
I paid him a visit. Who knows? Yelena is gone. We'll never know what she would, even if that avenging her. Kyria cultivated his revenge. In any case, thank you for saving my life. Love and hatred when someone dies, but even if it's only the meaning we, and yet at the very